Biriya Ein Zeitim. Biriya is now a small Jewish village. In the days of the Second Temple there was a Jewish settlement. In Roman times it was called Biri and also Bura. Apparently, the origin of the name is due to the many cisterns in the area. During the Mishnah and Talmudic period, about 2,000 years ago, the Jewish settlement continued, and Tanaim and Amoraim lived there. According to medieval evidence, Jews also lived there. About 500 years ago, Rabbi Yosef Karo wrote the Shulchan Aruch, the basic book of Jewish law, in Biriya. A little later, the Jewish settlement stopped there. During the Ottoman period and the British Mandate there was a Muslim Arab village. The surrounding lands were bought by Jews, and in 1945 the members of the religious department in Palmyk built a kind of fortress. Their purpose was to protect the Jews of Safed, and to help the immigration of Jews from Lebanon. After a year the British Army found weapons at the site, arrested the residents, and took control of the site. It was a severe blow to the Jewish public in the country. Instead of using force, after 10 days about 3,000 young people immigrated to the place and established the Biriya Ein nearby. After the British showed no resistance, most of them left, and few remained, and then the British Army came up and expelled them. That night crowds of people came back and set up Biriya. The British did not want to continue with this, and agreed that the settlement would remain. The detainees who were caught with weapons were sent to prison, but were released after about a year. During the War of Independence the place was destroyed, the Arab village was conquered and its inhabitants left. After the establishment of the State of Israel, a transit point for new Jewish immigrants was established. And a new settlement was established. North of Biriya is Ein Zeitim, which was a Jewish settlement in the Middle Ages, and later the Arab village of Ein Zeitun. More than a century ago, the lands were bought by the Jews to establish a village called Moshava. Many difficulties with the Turkish government, and the First World War, caused the inhabitants to leave the place. After that, another attempt was made to settle, and in the Arab riots of 1929 the place was again abandoned. They settled again, but in the Arab riots of 1936 the place was abandoned for a third time. And they settled again, and during the War of Independence they were abandoned, and the inhabitants of the Arab village were also abandoned. After the establishment of the state, for the fifth time they tried to settle, but without success, and they left, and since then the place is in the possession of the army. In the area of the tombs of the righteous, and the Idra cave, which is attributed to the place where Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai taught the principles of the secret doctrine and Kabbalah.